I think most of the West underestimates Indonesia. Like, Indonesia is a powerhouse.
Meet Chris, an Italian who lived in Europe and America, but moved to Indonesia 7 years ago. Here he runs a comedy club and performs as an artist. Chris shared why Indonesia is Asia's next big thing, what makes every Indonesian laugh, and why locals are even proud of their traffic jams. I'm Chernov, your insider to Expat Life. Ayo!
What I think the biggest misconception about Indonesia, like in the West or in the rest of the world, what people don't get about Indonesia?
I don't think they understand how powerful Indonesia is.
You mean economically?
Yeah,
like,
economically, like just as a powerful, even just the number of people that they have. Like, Italy has 60 million people, Indonesia has 300 million. Even in the little, it's the same thing with comedy. I went to Australia to perform. Every once in a while, I like to confront myself with an audience that doesn't know me. Because it's always tricky, because when the audience already like you, they're gonna laugh even though you're not necessarily that funny. So I went to Australia, to test myself. And there are people who are like, oh, Chris, you're good. You should move to Australia and start and try to make it here. I was like, why?
Why would I want it?
Like, Australia is 30 million people. Indonesia is 300 million people. I love the Indonesian market. In the Indonesian market, I'm unique. I'm pretty much the only international comedian in Indonesia right now. Why would I move to Australia?
How Bali changed through these 7 years? So what's already like this? A lot of development, a lot of construction?
No, it's a difficult topic. Because on one hand, many people think there's overdevelopment. On the other hand, you also have to put yourself in the shoes of the landowners. Like, if I was Balinese and I had a rice field or land and some crazy European or Russian or Australian makes me a millionaire overnight, it's difficult to say no. So I think maybe it's the government regulation that should dictate what can be built and what cannot be built. But most of the builders do it legally. You rent the land from a Balinese, so But I agree that one thing is to see rice field everywhere, and then you see villas everywhere. Is a different look.
And I kind of see quite a lot of pushback from the locals. So foreigners are ruining Bali. Because, for example, I go to Phuket also often. And Phuket is also like that, but much smaller than in Bali. So Bali, there is a negativity from locals about what's going on.
Well, I was actually in Phuket a few weeks ago for the first time. I would never, like, all respect to Thailand, I would never trade Phuket for Bali. Because Phuket also is very sexualized, You go in the main street and there's sex everywhere. Like, Bali still doesn't have that because Indonesia is protecting of that, which I like. But also, people don't now realize that Bali is so much bigger than Canggu, Ubud, and Uluwatu. You still drive 20 minutes and you are in the middle of rice field or in the middle of the jungle, And that's the problem. Many expats that come here, and it's so sad to me. I know people that came here 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they never left Canggu. You don't know Bali. It's a completely different thing. Canggu is more like Europe or the US. And I like that it's kind of confined, those tourist areas.
It's also confined because now it's hard to get around. Like, it's hard to get from Canggu to Uluwatu, from Canggu to Ubud. It's like
the traffic is also a testament that not even the Balinese expected this boom, because the roads are smaller and they're trying to figure out other ways. Now there's a talk also of a railway or a subway, which is going to take years, obviously. But now the congestion is a big problem. I would never buy a car in Bali. Like, I would rather die than drive a car in Bali.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense. I came now from Seminyak to Canggu. It took me maybe 30 minutes almost by bike, by Grab bike. But car, I would spend like 1 hour plus.
More
than.
And this is Saturday morning, so it's not even rush hour. I don't know. It's interesting because Indonesian people are almost proud of their traffic. Like, the first thing that they tell you when you arrive in Jakarta is like, see this? Macet, which is a rush hour in Bahasa, Indonesia. They're almost like, see, we're the best in the world in this. And it's like, you shouldn't really be proud of that.
What's the biggest shocks that you had when you came to Indonesia?
The biggest thing is maybe the politeness. I'm not used to that kind of politeness, which as a European, like, it makes you a little bit defensive, actually. Before you know them, it's like, are these people fake? Like, I don't trust, you're too nice. And then you learn about how they live their life, and then you start getting it.
It's like, if you live in the US, It's like you
I
expect.
lived in the US as well. Yeah.
People smile, and like in the restaurant, like the
Yes.
waitress would smile. So she would expect like 25% tip.
Exactly. Like the US waitresses are the nicest because they want a big tip. And that's why, for example, in Italy, they don't smile because they know you're not going to tip them. So
Yeah. What's also like interesting about like Indonesians, because you're a comedian,
Yes.
you can spot this like little nuance, little things. What's the feature of Indonesian?
you might get me in trouble for this. So Indonesia, first of all, are very proud people. They're extremely proud. And also, there's two sides of every Indonesian. There is the face-to-face side, which is extreme politeness and extreme respect, like they respect a lot the elderly. And then there's the online persona. The Indonesian netizens are the most brutal you'll ever find. I think it's a true statistic still. Jakarta is the #1 city in the world for number of tweets.
Oh, for number of tweets.
If you get on the wrong side of Indonesian netizens, it's over. Luckily, I'm on the good side because I expose bad tourist behavior on social media, and also because I make jokes about Malaysia, which Indonesians love. That got me on the bad side of the Malaysian. I received thousands of death threats over the last few years from Malaysians. But like he's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know, it's two different people, online and offline.
Why do you think it's that? Because it's the face thing. They don't want to lose face.
It's,
in real life.
I don't know. It's almost like you have no inhibition, you know, when you're online. This happens to pretty much everybody, you know, keyboard warriors and but Indonesian is to the extreme, I think. You know, it's almost the same. Like it's an interesting concept, you know. Like for example, if you drive a car, I don't drive here in Bali, but in Europe, in Italy, I would say things that I would never say in person to other people just because they cut me off or whatever. I would scream at them, shout insults, whatever. And you're just separated by thin glass and a layer of metal, you know?
Yes.
Like if somebody bumps you in the street, you're not going to start a fight, you know? But if somebody cuts you off traffic, you're like, and it's the same on social media, is that there's like this perception that there is a screen, like there is, like we're not face to face, so I can just say whatever I want.
I guess it's also because of the scale. Indonesia, people don't realize. People live in the West. They don't know. Like Indonesia, it's #3 country.
Number four.
Number 4.
Like China, India, US, Indonesia.
After US as well. Yeah. So it's like almost 300 million people.
Yeah, and it's growing.
It's growing. It's a very young population.
Yes.
It's growing.
And many countries, like for example, my country is dying. Korea is dying. Japan is dying. Indonesia, and also on an economic level, Indonesia is projected to be in the top 4 or 5 country in the world, even economically. It's booming. They just had the G20 1 or 2 years ago here in Bali.
Oh yeah, they built the roads for this G20, which is a super nice thing that you did.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think you changed somehow? Like your personality changed after 7 years in Indonesia? What's the changes?
Is the outlook in life, you know, before it was only work, money. Now it's more like fulfillment, enjoyment of life. It's more relaxed.
When, for example, do you go back to Italy?
Never. Last time I've been in Italy was 2019.
Okay, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Why don't want to go?
Because my family's there.
Okay.
I have a very good relationship with my family right now because they're thousands of miles away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So don't really want to go.
I don't miss it at all. I mean, I'll go this year just because my mother is getting older, but I don't miss it at all.
I'm curious, like, let's say you meet your family, you're in Italy, like, would you miss anything about, let's say, Indonesia first, and then, like, what would your family say? Oh, you changed in this way.
Well, I think the biggest thing that they would say is, you look a lot happier. Like I was suicidal before coming to Bali.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the reasons I came to Bali is I was this close to kill myself.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And this is also the Italian mentality. I have a brother which is almost 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
And when I told him, listen, I cannot do this anymore, I'm moving to Bali. And he asked me why. I said, because I want to be happy. And he's like, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to work, make money, and then when you retire, you can think about being happy. I was like, what? And so I was like, nah.
And here's different approach, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Here is a lot more family oriented. It's a lot about spirituality oriented, obviously.
Yeah.
And not only in Bali. Like you go to Jakarta, they're mostly Muslim, but they live their religion much more than, for example, we do in Italy. In Italy, everyone is Catholic just in the name.
That's why priorities of local people are different. Like I talked to this guy, he's in develop real estate business in Bali. He's been here for 10 years. So he told me, okay, the Balinese people, like Indonesians, they can, for example, skip work if there is like a big celebration, like a big
ceremony.
And it's not because they're lazy, not because they don't, but because the priorities in life. The first is like the community, the religion, then the family, and then work is just it's not, I don't care, but it's just the lowest priority in my life.
What's the sentence? You don't live to work, you work to live. And that's true. But in Indonesia, I think this is the #1 country for day off of work due to holidays.
Yeah.
And in Bali, there's a ceremony every other day. I love it, but there's a ceremony every other day.
Can you give me some, like, couple of jokes that always works well for Indonesian audience?
For example, I joke about the religion as well, which is something that everyone says, oh, don't joke about religion, don't joke about Muslim, I have no problem. For example, in Indonesia, I'm known as Chris. And so one of my opening, first of all, I go on stage and I act almost like I don't know what I'm doing. And then my opening line is always, Assalamu alaikum. And already that makes people laugh because they don't expect it from me. It's shock value because every other Indonesian comedian does it, but when a white guy that is obviously not Muslim goes on stage and say it, people are confused and they start laughing. And then I say, you know, once again, the host introduced me wrong. You know, I don't know why in this country nobody calls me by my name. You know, my name is Christian, but I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's too long for Indonesian people, because they don't call me Christian, they make it shorter, you know. They don't call me Christian, they call me kafir, which means infidel in Bahasa Indonesia, and everyone laughs. Or for example, I use a lot of, one joke that became very viral in Indonesia is about one of their hand gestures that they do. And I'm Italian, so of course I'm big on hand gestures. I always notice hand gesture, which is this, I don't know if they do it in Singapore. Every time you walk in front of an elderly, out of respect, you do this.
No, in Singapore, no, but I know this gesture.
And on my first TV show, I was like, you know, to me, Indonesians are like superheroes, you know, because they have a way to become invisible. And they'll do this. And I'm like, you know, we can see you still. And people lost it. But the best one, of course, is when I make fun of Malaysian. That's when that always gets the best reaction. I have this bit, it's like a 5-minute bit, so it's a long bit, where I go through all the tourism slogan from 10, 15 countries. And because I say that I decided to go to Indonesia because I didn't know where I wanted to go, so I started reading all the tourism slogans from every single country. And I chose Indonesia because Indonesia is the best tourism slogan, which is wonderful Indonesia. You can feel how, like, the personality of a country from the slogan. Indonesia is, you know, is confident. And then I start doing many, many countries. And then, of course, I go to Malaysia and I say, you know, Malaysia, their slogan is truly Asia.
Malaysia, truly Asia. Yes.
I start and I say, and of course the word slogan is Malaysia, because Malaysia and Indonesia is always competing against each other. And Malaysia is always jealous of Indonesia, which is not necessarily true, but my audience is Indonesian.
They love,
And even in their slogan, they're jealous of Indonesia. Like, it's almost like in the government office, they heard the Indonesian slogan and they're like, fuck, that's a good slogan. Because their slogan is an answer to the Indonesian slogan. Their slogan is Malaysia, truly Asia. Not like those, like, it's so petty, you know, so passive aggressive. And first of all, I don't trust you. Because if I go to a doctor and the first thing he tells me is, I'm a true doctor, I'm like, are you? Like, why do you have to tell me? You know? Or if I meet a girl and before I go to her hotel bedroom, she tells me, I'm a true woman, I'm like, are you? Like, you might have a dick at this point, you know? But it's true, they're truly Asian. Because their workforce is Indian and Indonesian. Their best food, rendang, is Indonesian. Their best food, batik, is Indonesia. They should change their slogan in Malaysia, we steal everything from Indonesia, and that gets standing up. And then the tag is, or maybe they should change it in Malaysia, we wish we were Singapore. And then I also have one for Russia.
Oh, okay, tell me.
When I talk about Russia, like, I don't remember which one was Russia tourism slogan, but I imagine the Russia tourism slogan would be something like, Gracia, you don't need to visit us, we will visit you.
Okay. What would be the kind of unified topic for any audience? Like something that you can use anywhere?
French people. Everyone hates them. No.
Okay. a lot of joke about French, about Germans as well.
No, well, first of all, there is a subculture of the Bali expat community So you can talk about things that in Bali they immediately understand.
Like-
Bali is full of life coaches and gym bros and hippies up in Ubud. So you can talk about these things, but you talk about yourself. Like I have a very interesting family dynamic, because I'm a white European, my wife is black African, and my son was born in Indonesia. So just between the dynamic and how to navigate that is most of my jokes.
Yeah. What's one best thing for you about Indonesia overall? What do you appreciate a lot, the most about Indonesia and living here?
Indonesia is the country where I gave myself the freedom of really doing what I wanted to do. Like back in Italy, I was always restricted by society and by my family and by what I thought is right, what I thought my career should look like, that I never thought about my happiness. Here, I put my happiness first.
Yeah.
And I always say, Indonesia changed my life. I always say that I'm living the Indonesian dream. Because in Indonesia, I became a comedian, which is the best job in the world. Like, my job is to talk shit about people. Like, who get paid to talk shit? Maybe politicians. Like, it's only comedians, you know? It's amazing. And I found the love of my life. I became a father, which was my number one goal in life. Like, I don't care about anything. Like, I'm a dad. I'm not a comedian. I was not a salesman. I'm a dad. That's the only thing that counts. And maybe because, you know, especially Bali is big around karma and around manifesting and really attracting what you want in life. But I can generally say that I have anything I want. Everything I want, I have it here. And that's why also I'm so attached to Indonesia. Now, I don't know how much is because of Indonesia or because I finally unshackled myself from outside pressure. But like in Indonesia, I'm the person I've always wanted to be.
Is it home now? Home?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I plan to live in Indonesia for the rest of my life.
What's the meaning of life for you?
I used to think that the meaning of life was to be happy. Now I think the meaning of life is to make my son happy. Like the other day, I reached peak happiness. It's so interesting because life or God, the universe, and it gives you and then takes you away. And you have to just to be grateful for the moment, because now my son just entered a phase where he doesn't even want to see me. It's only mom, that's
mom.
it.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks ago, I was driving him to school, as I always do in the morning.
Yeah.
And at one point, out of the blue, he told me, "Papa, you're my best friend."
Oh.
And that's it. I can die happy now. He told me that once. Even if he never tells me again, that is the happiest moment in my life.